Welcome everyone to Get Bricked. Today we've got a Lego set from a canceled episode of What If. This is Tony Stark's Sakaarian Iron Man, and this is set 76194, so let's get it assembled. Thank you for joining me today on Get Bricked. Today we've got a set from the show What If from Marvel Studios. Now this is the Lego set 76194, Tony Stark's Sakaarian Iron Man, and this set includes 369 pieces. Now included in this set we do get 3 minifigures. Of course we get Tony Stark, and then we get Valkyrie and the Watcher. And then we get the main build for this set, the Hulkbuster inspired Iron Man armor, and it definitely matches the look and almost the scale of the Hulkbuster set. And I like the fact that it actually does open up, so you can actually pop in a Tony Stark figure, and it does fully open up. The full front of it kind of folds out, and then you can fold the head up and down as well. And I like that there's a little panel on the inside of that as well when you fold it closed. Now this suit of armor is really great with the amount of posability we are getting out of it. It's more than I've seen on some figures, but it is limited in a couple areas as well. Now starting at the bottom, we do get the ball joint for the ankle, but it is a little bit limited in the way that it's built, so you can't move it like full 360 or anything like that, but you can rock it side to side and pull it front to back. And it doesn't actually have any knees on this character, but it's built to look like it has knees incorporated into it. But if we move up, we've got some hip joints there where you can rotate them in place up and down. And then they do have the ability to like fold out to the side as well. A bit of an odd choice there, the way they've kind of incorporated the look of it and how the legs come together, but it doesn't look too bad and it does work with the figure. Now moving up to the arms, we do get the ball joint in the shoulder where you get a free range of motion on that. So it does open that up and you can get it into quite a few different positions. A little limited by the pieces that are above it, but other than that, it does fill in the main body of it. So it doesn't look too bad even with that, blocking it a little bit. And other than that though, there's not much else in the way of motion for the arms. There's no elbow joint, but there is like a forearm rotation that you can get, but no wrist rotation at all. I guess that kind of works as a wrist rotation. We also do get the posable fingers where we can bend those and put them into different positions. No joints or knuckles or anything like that other than the main finger itself. But I like the way that they've done the thumb where it can actually rotate in place. So you can get that into a few different orientations to change up the look of the hand. So it does make it more useful and versatile in posing and getting it into different positions. Now moving around to the back of the suit, it does have the problem of having a bit of a backpack on there because they've stored the extra piece for when it's in its alternate mode on the back of there. But we do get a couple of different moving parts. We've got these wheel pieces that are attached on these Technic arms, so you can actually move those and bend those up and down a little bit, get them into a couple of different positions. And then we've got what appears to be a spoiler or wings on the back there behind the head. They are attached at the same point on the head there. But a nice way to incorporate that into the build, but still be able to use that for the alternate mode that this one has. And that actually is the secondary feature of this set, where it actually can transform into a vehicle mode. So we'll go ahead and flip it over to the vehicle mode. And this is something that probably would have been featured on the show if the episode hadn't been canceled or delayed till next season. This would have probably been one way you would have seen them getting around, depending on what kind of storyline they were going with. But I don't mind the look of it, but to me, I like the look of the armor more so I would have rather sacrificed the vehicle mode to get the armor to look that much better. Now, to make the vehicle mode, you do have to make a few different changes, like taking off the lower arms and basically taking off the legs entirely. But then you can put in the piece in the middle there to extend the front of the vehicle, change where the wheels are oriented to make sure they're in the right location for the front. And you can take the shoulder pieces and fold those into the main body, because those are just meant to be like folded up to the side there. It would have been nice if they would have incorporated a different way for those to look, but who knows, maybe this is very accurate to what the vehicle mode would have actually looked like in the show. And then you just have to fold that front panel down, making sure you turn the rounded piece there a little bit forward to make it kind of like a dashboard, I guess you could say. And then you can fold up the spoiler and then also fold up the wheels as far as they go. And they don't lock into position, but they do sit really nicely for when it's in vehicle mode. So it actually is very sturdy. And it actually does move very good and is very quiet and silent when it's moving around. It doesn't look too bad as a vehicle, but there are a lot of extra unused pieces, like basically the main legs and the lower part of the arms aren't used at all. So a lot of extra pieces just hanging around, and maybe in the show this is very accurate to what it would have looked like in the vehicle mode, but we won't know that until they actually show it or give us more details on that. But otherwise, it doesn't look too bad in the vehicle mode. Personally, myself, though, I probably would have liked to just see those pieces used in the vehicle to help build it up or bulk it up in a way. Now, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the minifigures that came in this set. So let's go ahead and take a look at Tony Stark first, and you'll notice right away a lack of printing on the figure. We do get a decent print for the front of the shirt, and it looks like it's supposed to be inspired from some kind of like heavy metal shirt that he's seen sporting in the MCU. Now, if you know which band or shirt this is inspired by, leave that in the comments below, because I'd be curious which one it actually is. It looks like it could be from a couple of different bands. But other than that, we don't get any prints on the legs, just a pair of plain gray legs. And otherwise, the black shirt is just very plain. Now, moving up to the head, we do get him done up with a short black spiky hair, which does match the look you'd expect for him, especially if he's been out building his armor on Sakaar for a while. I feel like that's going to be a lot of work, and maybe hair care is not as important. Now, we also do get a couple of prints for the head. He's got his more natural kind of look with a bit of a smirk for his main face, and then flipping it over, he's got a more angry and like aggressive face, but it's actually got the Tony Stark HUD display on his face, like what you'd expect to see in the MCU. So I like that they at least gave you that choice so you can flip it around and have him sporting that look in the armor. The next minifigure is Valkyrie, and this one does feature a decent print for both the front and back of the torso, done up with some like silver kind of line work and a bit of blue and different shades of gray, and it definitely looks like the character and matches the look. But other than that, we don't get any printing on the legs, and the arms are meant to match the skin tone for when she's wearing her vest, so that looks really good. And I like that we do get the little bit of blue cape with a slightly odd shape to it that goes on the back there. So I like the look that that gives. It definitely makes it a little bit more unique with a different style cape. Now, moving up to the head, we do get her done up with a long black hairpiece, but it's got the look and style of what you'd see when people do the shaved sides on their head. So that's probably why we don't get an alternate print on this one. But I like the look that it gives the character. It definitely makes it a little bit more unique of a look for the figure. Now, as for her accessories, she does come with a sword as well as her signature bottle, because of course Valkyrie's known for loving to drink. And then finally for the minifigures, we of course have the Watcher. And I like the look of this one, and we do get a print on the front and back of the torso. Again, no printing on the legs. It looks like they didn't really want to do much in the way of additional printing on the minifigures, so they are a little bit basic, but I like that he actually features one arm where it's got the blue sleeve, and then one where it's meant to match the skin tone. So I like that they're changing up the look of the character a little bit, and I like the fact that we actually got the two pieces for the cape here, not only to give the lower part of the cape, but also to add that flared up collar, which I think with this one is a definite nice look to the figure overall. Now, of course, since this one doesn't feature a hairpiece, there is no alternate print for the head. He's just got a very serious face with his eyes open, definitely like he's seen a few things, him being the Watcher and everything. So we'll go ahead and take a look now at the suit of armor, and I love the look of this Iron Man armor. And if you've followed my channel, you'll of course notice that I did apply the stickers on this one. The stickers in this set did add a lot of detail and a lot of different line work, and definitely gives it that Sakaarian kind of look to it. So I figured it would look really good with all of the stickers applied to it. Personally, I would have preferred printed pieces, of course, but you can't really always choose that, so I figured why not apply them. But I like the look that it has overall, and I love the color scheme that they went with for this one. Not only does it feature the red, and instead of a little bit of yellow, it's more of like an orange as well as like a teal kind of color. And I like the way that they've included that and kind of mixed it up around the set, definitely incorporated it and made it a little bit more cohesive as a set. Instead of it being like one arm's teal, one arm's orange, they have a little bit of that, but I like the way that they've kind of changed up where the color is applied. And a couple of the pieces are a little bit different too, so that way it has a unique look to it. Now overall, the suit of armor looks great, and the fact that we are getting decent amount of posability out of this kind of a figure isn't too bad, but one of my downsides I see with a lot of the Iron Man builds and other mech suits is that they don't incorporate as much in the way of joints. I know more joints, especially in the legs, does weaken it and make it less stable, but this one does seem to be firmly planted in the way that they've built it. But again, I would have loved to see much more posability with the arms especially, because there's no elbow joint and no bicep swivel or anything like that. The shoulders do make it really nice where you can get actually a decent amount of movement out of them, but without the additional joints, it does limit it a little bit. Now, a downside with the Iron Man suit is because of the way that they've included it to be used in the alternate vehicle mode, there is a large backpack that it does get stuck with, which usually is a big problem with some mechs and also some Transformers figures, because there's a lot of parts that they don't know where to hide them or what to do with them. Now, overall, it doesn't look too bad. It's not too chonky for this one, but I would have liked to see them slim that down a little bit or just focus on the armor itself. It's kind of a bit of a gimmick to make it have a vehicle mode, but overall it doesn't look too bad when you have all those additional pieces on the back. And speaking of the vehicle mode, we'll take a look at what that looks like. And again, it doesn't look too bad with the way the colors are incorporated into it. Because you just take off the arms, we're missing a little bit of the orange, so it's a little bit more teal in the final vehicle build, but overall it doesn't look that bad. Now, to me, one of the major downsides of the vehicle is that there's a lot of extra pieces that aren't used in the build for the vehicle. You basically take off both of the legs and both of the arms at the bicep and further down, and then they're not really used in the vehicle mode. So we got a lot of extra pieces kicking around, and it's not like it's a figure where you can just have those as part of the backpack. It would have been a nice way to see them incorporate that into the overall build for the car. Now, of course, in the show, since they haven't released the episode, maybe this is a very accurate look to the vehicle, but again, it would have been nice to see some way to include that or incorporate that, or for me personally, just get rid of the vehicle mode altogether. Now, after having taken a look at the full set, I think personally I do like the look of the Iron Man. The armor looks really good, and it's definitely got a different kind of style to it, but still making it match the look you'd expect for an Iron Man suit, especially when it's a little bit of a larger kind of set, similar to like a Hulkbuster set. So I like that they've kind of made it feel and look like it should, but again, with the vehicle mode, it's a little bit of a gimmick, so I'm not a huge fan of that. And I would have liked to see maybe them just get rid of the vehicle mode, like I mentioned, and build it just with the Iron Man suit in mind. That would have been a nice touch for me, because then we would have got a lot more posability and maybe a better usage of some of the extra pieces on there. Maybe a few extra accessories for the figures as well. But let me know your thoughts on the Sakaarian Iron Man. I do like the look overall, but let me know your thoughts and any changes you'd like to see to this set, or any other sets that I should be on the lookout for. And make sure you like and subscribe and get that bell on to be notified about our next video. Now, before you become Sakaar's champion, just be sure to tell everyone that you just got bricked.